Hello, I'm Lyle. I want to talk to you today about a nutraceutical powerhouse called bitter melon. You can find this at Asian markets, and it really has some amazing health benefits, which I'm going to go over. And I'll also go over a recipe at the end, how to eat it and how it might fit into your diet. But let me just give you a little rundown of what it is. So it has a lot of different names. You might have heard under like Goya, Ampalaya. There's a lot of different names. And there's some other fruits you shouldn't confuse it with, like Loofah and Lagenaria, which looks kind of similar. But this is the fruit here. I just picked this from over here in this little mini greenhouse of mine. So it's really hard to get, and for me, it was worth it to grow my own. It's kind of spotty, the availability at Asian markets here locally where I live. So I decided to grow it myself. This is a little desktop greenhouse here. It's about three feet wide, 4 feet tall, something like that. It has a roughly a 50-watt LED in it. So let me just recommend, if you are going to grow it yourself, you have to do hand pollination. So there's going to be yellow flowers that come out, and most of them will be male, and they won't have a little fruit underneath, which means they are male. And you just rip those male flowers off and you rub them against the smaller number of flowers that have a little mini fruit under them, which are the female flowers, to hand pollinate them. So by hand pollination, you can grow your own, which is how I grew this one. Now, you should pick them when they're a light green, which is not what I did with this one. Um, when they're a light green color, that's the right time to cut them. And then you can slice them up and use them in stir fries and cooking. Now, this one is overripe. So you can see that this has this red, like jello-like material around the seeds. And the seeds themselves are not edible, but the red part is edible. It's actually a dessert item in a lot of cultures. So if you let it get overripe, you can still use it. You could do it for seed saving as well, but you can also eat the red part as a dessert item. Or if you don't let it go this far, you can use it in your stir fries and cooking. So this is kind of a setup you can use. Now, this one's a decent sized fruit. Some of the fruits I have in here are kind of smaller, actually. This one's a little bit smaller one. Better. This one's better though for cooking. Actually, it's about the right color. This one is beyond where you'd want to use it for cooking. So to go over some of the health benefits of this fruit, it has amazing anti-cancer properties and anti-diabetic properties, or not anti-diabetic, I should say. It's glucose hypoglycemic properties. Let's put it that way. So there's been animal studies and cell line studies showing inhibition of a lot of different types of cancers, at least in vitro and in laboratories with laboratory animals. I'm not aware of human studies on it, but it is strongly inhibitory in multiple studies using animals and cell tissue against things like prostate cancer, lung cancer, colorectal cancer. These are all models of these cancers in animals and so on. A lot of important cancers that are really devastating. So potentially, it might be something that, you could add to your diet to help ward off cancer down the road, or help you, protect yourself from cancer down the road. And then there's also a number of studies that have been done, also in humans actually, small clinical trials in humans, not extensive clinical trials, but small trials in humans and animal studies showing that it is also helps with diabetes, helps lower blood sugar. There's a saponin in it that lowers blood sugar, and there's a peptide in it as well that mimics insulin. And small human trials and animal studies show that it lowers blood sugar in those studies. Now, I'm not a medical doctor, just a little disclaimer here. So I'm not giving medical advice here, but there's research showing that in research settings, it lowered blood sugar. And I can tell you personally, this is just an anecdotal observation. I had a friend who was diabetic, and I believe they were drinking a tea made out of bitter melon, if I remember right. And they swore it helped their blood sugar levels. So some pretty amazing properties of this fruit. So how do you cook it up? How do you eat it? Well, the way I like to eat it is with eggs. So I'll saute some onion and garlic in a pan, and I'll add eggs, salt, maybe a little pepper, maybe some tomato, um, and with some oil, of course, and then slice this up, more of this color, not the dark yellow ones, but the light green ones. Slice it up into some fairly small chunks and put it in there, kind of like an omelet. And it is bitter, but it expands your palate, right? I mean, do we all want to be eating, something that's so palatable that it has nothing to it? A McDonald's hamburger or something like that, where yeah, it's palatable to everybody, but um, it is bitter and you get used to it after a while. The first time I had it, I didn't enjoy it, and then I came to really enjoy it a lot after a while. It's sort of an acquired taste, but um, it's something where you know, we can't just live our lives where we never experience something sour or bitter. It's important to, I believe, in my own life, it's important to expand our horizons and have foods that are sour, like different types of vinegar, or foods that are bitter, like bitter melon. It fits in really well with Mediterranean diet. Now, obviously, this is from Asia. This is originally was from India, Southeast Asia, China. They still eat a lot of it there and in those parts of the world. But I think it would fit in really well with Mediterranean diet, which is a diet I personally eat. Mediterranean diets are high in vegetables, high in fruits, high in whole grains, lower amounts of meat, fairly high in dairy. So, this egg dish I just described where you saute garlic and onions and make sort of an omelet with some salt, tomatoes, and bitter melon and eggs mixed together in sort of a scrambled eggs. Um, Perfect for a Mediterranean diet. And by the way, it tastes really great. Something about the oil and the egg and the bitterness of the bitter melon just makes a really nice mix. And so you might just consider utilizing this amazing nutraceutical vegetable. Nutraceutical means that it just has properties that go beyond just sustenance, which it has great sustenance, by the way, loaded with vitamin C, vitamin A, folic acid, zinc, iron. It's actually probably the most nutritious melon you could possibly eat. But beyond that, it's nutraceutical. It has these great properties where if you eat it over long term, it's probably likely to reduce your cancer risk over time. Um, Amazing stuff. Go out there and get it. Thank you. Have a good night.